In this poem, our main character, Adam, gets sick just in time for Muharram, so he's unable to attend majalis, and he feels that his Muharram has been unfulfilled. He goes to sleep on the night before Ashura and wakes up to experiences that he hadn't even dreamed of witnessing before. And so this poem is about his perception of those experiences. Inshallah, I'll begin now with a loud Husseini salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What they witnessed. Muharram had arrived once more, his forbidden spirit beating with every Husseini heart in laments lyrics. And although Adams longed to be alongside the others in spending their moments mourning the beheaded brothers, his body decided to suffer by a lonely will. Days passed with ill Adam at home in solitude until Adam's eyes met the sun's blaze as she set for the 9th night. The risen moon hushed him to sleep, but his dreams met with light. And suddenly Adam faced two strangers in a strange land, or perhaps two distant friends on strangely familiar sand. A woman with a warm smile and a man with moonlit eyes stepped forward, introduced themselves, and to Adam's surprise, she was the sun and he was the moon standing in his dream, that he could not believe he was in, Karbala it seemed. But indeed, this was Karbala's heartbeat so familiar, and that Muharrami fragrance only tenfold clearer. The sand dunes handed waves of stifling heat in a circle as Adam took in the tents beneath the starry sparkle, yet in his haze he failed to realize his dream's intent, that he was to witness the birth of Ashura's laments. Adam asked the sun and the moon to see the promised shrine. Instead, they turned him around to face the martyr Hussein, and for a moment that felt like forever, the world stopped. To his bursting heart shocked, and to his faint knees Adam dropped, as his endless tears streamed in an attempt to join Furat. From eyes that finally found divine beauty they had sought, in his bright face Adam recognized his questions' answers, and in his glance, he felt the surge of light like that lantern, illuminating the lover's ring around Hussein's words, that the moon hurriedly guided him and the sun towards. They reached just in time to hear that death 1,000 times was desired to abandoning Hussein for Yazid's dimes, as one deluded today and one fulfilled forever, and that true freedom is far from bowing to oppressor, that true love is giving soul, heart, life, and all in his way. And what way better than that manner of the Ahlul Bayt? All at once, sand blew around Adam, the sun, and the moon. The worlds tilt, and they came to, standing at Ashura's noon. The sun caught Adam's bewildered eyes before he could see. After all, she was the first witness to this tragedy. She warned that the scene upon them was the great sacrifice that had been fated since the dawn of time by the All-Wise. Adam accepted and broke his gaze to witness Hussein as he left his brother's body in the desert of slain. With a broken back, a father returned to his daughter, innocently waiting for her uncle's musk of water. The moon drifted towards Abbas as he flew to the skies, while the sun set out to comfort the children's thirsty cries. And for the first time, Adam saw the heroine Zainab. As Hussein carried news that Banu Hashim's moon had set, she handed her youngest nephew to his father to mourn the loss of her brother that now left her Imam alone. And as if he understood his father's back-breaking pain, the young Ali cried towards the enemy in complaint. Was the realm between Hussein's two fingers not proof enough? And Ray's avowed wealth worth the cost of their life and beyond? His cries echoed as the parched son and his anguished father rode to enemy lines, two green brights by Ali's honor. Surely, Adam thought to himself, the red monsters would give to the young Ali enough water so that he could live. The world held her breath, not knowing a three-headed arrow had already targeted Karbala's little sparrow. And just when Adam felt evil had achieved potential, evil sought to end Hajar's sacrifice so essential. That three-headed arrow burned Hussein's heart through Ali's life. And so the anguished father sent his son's blood to the skies. Wails of young and old could be heard from the tents as Hussein brought back Karbala's youngest martyr when the arrows rained. Their dark shadows overtook Adam, the sun, and the moon. Until again the world shifted and the end came too soon. Before Adam could open his eyes, his ears heard Hussein's Hal min nasirin yansurni, his heart burst into flames. Adam knew that at this point his Imam had no helper. Not one in Yazid's army of thousands was God-centered. He opened his eyes to see Hussein surrounded by spears. A Safa's distance away from where Marwa's moon shed tears, and though Adam tried to run and run towards his master, the sand kept him in place to watch the promised disaster. A bloodthirsty hand raised an ashamed dagger to the skies as Hussein looked directly into his murderer's eyes, and the insistent hand brought down the reluctant dagger. To where a kiss was placed by Hussein's mother and sister, the winds began howling. Sand screeching, Furat crying. Each pure drop of blood that fell had grief intensifying. If Adam thought his heart was hurting before, now he broke. All the breaths and tears in Adam's sorry throat made him choke. An angry thunder reached all four corners of Karbala. And so Alam forever cursed Ibn Muawiyah for brutally stealing such a guiding light from her midst and beheading saviorship without her on lovers' list. The world began spinning for Adam, the sun, and the moon. And suddenly he was back on his bed and in his room. Adam looked to the sky, his heart still beating rapidly. A twinkle in his eye, the moon looked down sorrowfully as he vanished for the aching sun to rise in his place. And her woeful warmth cradled Adam's face in her embrace. The tense cries echoed in Adam's ears and his tears still shed. Adam remembered risen above spears his master's head. Forever in his heart Karbala's martyrs would remain, as he no longer had doubt, for he had witnessed Hussein. Salawat.